Hello. This is part two of the story of Star People. Now the moon was in place, and Camelot made the decision that they were going to try and figure out what was going on the planet that they were living on, because people were being lied to, and they had more than enough proof of the people that were coming in to their ranks and telling these people in Camelot that ran the place of these stories. Now, people had trouble understanding and believing this, but yet it was truth. So Camelot pushed ahead, and people were not quite understanding what was going on. So when they didn't know how to take back their planet, when clearly the planet was being ran by somebody they had no clue of, and they didn't understand on how to control the government. So there was this here one other person that stood up, and this person was the Free People Society. These people knew how to play the government at their own game. So the Free People Society and Camelot got together. They clearly understood that something had to be done, but Camelot was going along the lines of one way, and the Free People Society was going along the lines of another way. Now, the Free People Society really understood the way that the government can be coerced into understanding the way things are. So they pushed some new laws through that would prohibit the government from doing any harm to the races that were in the stars. Now, the Free People Society clearly put it into words on a piece of paper to the government representatives that they will not stand for this. And Camelot stood with these people, and all the followers of Camelot and all the followers of the Free People Society stood with them. They would not let the world go down without a fight. They knew something was going on, but nobody really understood what was going on. So the planet itself was a spiritual being, and people were just starting to figure this out. And so, unbeknownst to the Free People Society and Camelot, there were three great big ships. At least each one of them were half the size of the Earth. Now, they were dispatched from one of the space stations because they clearly understood that something was going to go on that was not good for the planet. Now, the 10th planet was coming around, which is the solar system that we're in, has a 10th planet, and it was a rogue planet. It's gone out in a great big elliptical orbit, and it comes around once every while, and it was due in just a year or two. Now, the government knew this. Camelot sort of knew that something was going to happen, and the Free People Society, they knew that they could control the government and understand what's going on without their rights being infringed upon. So Camelot and the Free People Society stood up, and they tried to understand what was going on. What they all came to the understanding of is that things were going on that they couldn't even have a clue about. Nobody knew what was going on. The whole world was just in their own little cocoon. All countries were divided. The government, because of the people that were running the government in the background, were pushing everybody to go the wrong direction. Like they would tell one country that this country was trying to get this, and they would tell the other country that this country was trying to get that. So two countries would be going to war over, we'll say, oil or water. Now, Camelot and the Free People's Society knew that something like a joke was being played on the human race. But everyone's paying attention to what everyone else wanted to take from them, so they were ready to fight for it. Now, when these 3 ships were dispatched, they said, the captains of these ships said, when we get around this earth, how are we going to know that these people aren't going to shoot us down? Because apparently they have technology from the past ships that have been taken. Now, other races of the spiritually enlightened have been shot down already. So they clearly understood that there was something that was very wrong about what was going on planet Earth. Now, they've interrogated these races that they shot down. And one of these races were so important, or one of these people of these races were so important to the people, that they wanted to actually start a war with the government of the planet. But they decided they cannot do that because it is not spiritually enlightened way. And they were all spiritually enlightened, and they were getting, like, after they were interrogated, then their bodies would be frozen. Now, in order for their bodies to get frozen, that means their soul is stuck in the body that they're in. So now there is 6 or 7 very important individuals in the stars that are stuck down on planet Earth, and they are not allowed to be reborn because they are on ice, as they say. Now, the stars, the star people, they clearly understood that they can't do nothing because you got a whole planet of people that don't even realize these guys exist. So they turned around and they went back to the stars, and they were talking to all the rest of the star people. And they came up with a plan. But in order to do this plan, they had to do some time traveling of their own. So they went back in time, and they brought some spiritual beings into light that were being reborn, and they were explaining, these spiritual beings were explaining, they would be, their whole lives would be the job to explain to the human race or any other planet that they are born on, to try and clue in the individuals on the planet Earth. But people on planet Earth aren't so willing to listen so much. They're still in their houses, and they don't even know anything about what's going on out there. So they're happy watching TV, their little cartoons and their little radios, and they all get to listen, and they get to go and do their own thing, like we've been doing for 1,000 years. But it's coming to the time where